Hello everyone, it's Karen. Thank you very much for joining me once again. I am actually doing door number 23 of the Gerda Steiner Designs Christmas 2021 Advent Calendar. And so my video today is going to be all about making a double bridge card. So as you can see here, I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that is 5 inches by 8¼ inches. And you crease these or score them at each end, the 1 inch and the 2 inch mark. And then because it's a double bridge card, I have cut 2 bridge pieces that are 6¼ inches wide. You could do just one, but I'm doing a double bridge card today. And you can decide how tall those bridge pieces are. So they can be quite tall or short, depending on what you want. So maybe take a screenshot of this if you're interested, or pause and write the numbers, the dimensions down. I thought I would start by showing you this ink that I have been using a lot recently. It is from Cosmic Shimmer by Creative Expressions. It's called Color Cloud ink, and this one is in Clear Day. Now you can see I'm making a hot mess on this. I am really just trying to leave some white spaces, but as you can see at the bottom, I've got far too much blue, but I will show you later on how much that ink smooths out. So here I've cut a piece of cardstock 4 3/4 inches wide, and I think that it was about 3 inches tall. I wasn't sure how tall to make this. It's going to be my pond. So look at how awful that bottom piece is with my ink blending, but keep that in mind. Okay, so here is my bridge piece. I just wanted it to be a grassy piece, so I've cut some green cardstock and I'm using YG97 and YG67, and there's no finesse here. I'm just flicking on ink. And then once I've die cut it, it kind of has a bit of a grassy look to it. Okay, so for this main piece, you're going to score and crease at 1 inch from the end, from both ends, and at 2 inches in from both ends. I just find it easier to flip it around and make sure I'm getting 1 inch and 2 inches in. And with this little piece, it's going to have 1/4 inch tabs at either side, so I'm just scoring at 1/4 inch in from both ends. And then of course you're going to fold those back and use a bone folder to really burnish the creases. So that will sit in the middle of the main card. Now with this card, the inside crease you're going to fold towards the middle, and the outside you fold away from the middle. So I think that makes it a mountain valley fold at both ends. So you can start to see that box shape. So fold it in towards the middle on the inside one, and then away from the middle on the outside crease. And I've cut 2 bridge pieces. They are both 6¼ inches wide. I have stamped and heat embossed my sentiment on the bottom one, which is much easier to do now. I think I'm just showing you here that they're the same width. I'm not sure what I'm doing. So I've got the top and the bottom ones. Now this is the piece to go inside. It's meant to be a bit of a pond for I'm doing frogs. So I have these little frogs and I want him to sit in a pond. And so I wasn't too sure how high up I wanted that. So I'm just finding where I want that little water piece to sit. And then I'm just going to fold the flap out and make a little mark. And that's where I will cut it. And then I've put some double-sided tape on those flaps. So to put the flaps in, it's going to go on that inside part of the box there. And I am aiming for about halfway across, and I'm lining up the bottom edges. You want them to be lined up, so I'm just making sure that it's going straight across the bottom there. It's horizontal to the bottom of the card. And then I did use my bone folder to just really burnish that. Okay, now on the other side, at the bottom of the screen, I'm flattening out that side, and now the top I am folding over to meet that double-sided tape, and that will give you the right positioning for that piece. So I've put my little frog on this lily pad in, and I'm attaching this little guy on a piece of acetate. He looks like he should be leaping in the air. So I just wanted to be sure he wasn't going to be leaping into the clouds. And that's where I decided to stick him down. And then I've die cut a little cloud here, and the fly is also in that frog set. So I'm just putting him in the back there just for, I don't know, a little something extra to go back there. Okay, and so now to attach these bridge pieces, what I'm going to do here is just glue the bottom left corner. So just along that bottom edge of the border, and I'm lining it right up against the outside corner there. And then just letting it set up for a minute or so, not even a minute. And the same with this top one. So you're just gluing it on the outside, about 1 inch up and down. Okay, and then to attach the right, I've pushed the left side down flat and folded in the right side on itself. And then you can just glue this right down wherever it ends up going. And I'm just really making sure that sets up, and the same thing. So that right side flap is still tucked in and the left side is flattened out under my hand there. And I did have a little bit of excess on each side, so you just trim that little bit off. And then I like to make sure my moving cards move both ways. They should be able to bend back and forth if you've got everything in the right position. So there you see it's doing what it's meant to do. And then I just wanted to attach this little guy as if he's coming out of that pond. I just didn't want him to go over that thank you sign. These frogs are just adorable. I have used them so many times, and they are great for masculine cards. They are fun, but you know, they're not really feminine. They're very masculine. So here I'm just attaching this cloud. I just thought it needed something a little bit more on that right hand side. So I've just added another die cut cloud. So that's the front of the card. And now for the back, usually the back of my card, this one wasn't bad, but usually I have all kinds of ink on it. So my solution is I usually cut a back, and here it would be 10 inches by 4 1/4, and you just crease it halfway at 5 inches, and that's what I would stick on. But if you didn't want to use all that card, you could cut a little flap here that's 5 1/2 inches by 4 1/4 and make a crease at a 1/2 inch mark, and that would cover. It's just this way I prefer, because usually I do have ink on the back of my card. It's usually on my desk and I haven't noticed. So I do prefer this method. It does mean that when this stands up, that flap kind of flaps out like this, but that doesn't actually bother me, so I prefer it like that. Okay, now this is my bonus card for you. I was just going to do the frog card, but then I had so much fun I thought, oh, I'll do another one. So here's it's a moose card. It's going to be a Valentine's Day card. So this is my 5 inches by 8 1/4 inch piece of cardstock, and I'm creasing it at 1 inch and 2 inches in from both ends, folding it and really using a bone folder to go over those fold lines in towards the middle on the inside crease and away from the middle on the outside crease. And again, I'm just going over both sides of these creases just to make sure they're very clean and sharp folds. So both sides. Now I had actually cut a hillside piece of green cardstock to cover the bottom and a whole bunch of these little birch trees, and I am going to save you the agony of watching me try to figure out where to put all these trees. So I have done those now, attached them all, and that little owl is from the Foxes stamp set by Gerda Steiner Designs. And I put a little moon in there and a few holographic stars. To attach this hillside piece, I am gluing the inside down first, and then I'm attaching the flaps. I find that whenever you have moving flaps like this and any cardstock over top of it, you have to really make sure it all folds well together. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just folding it in and making sure it's not coming apart or pulling. And here's my Mr. Moose. And I'm just putting him so he's towards the left side edge, and to cover up his, lack of legs, I've got a hedge there that I'm gluing over him. And then for Mrs. Moose, it's the same thing. So she doesn't have legs either, so I've covered her. I'm putting her on the outside there as if she's coming in to meet Mr. Moose. And then I've got this hedge that I have die cut, and I'm just sort of positioning it, and then I flip it over to mark where I want to cut that. And so then once that's cut, I glue it on the outside, just the outer 1 inch, so that it's not glued on the inside part where it's open to the inside. And then to attach these bridges, exactly the same thing again. I am going to glue just that bottom corner and the top left corner on the sky one. I've added some holographic stars to those clouds. I know that's not very realistic, but I wanted those stars to be in there. So I'm flattening down the left side under my hand and folding in the right side of the card in order to attach that bridge. So there you have it. It's a Valentine's Day card. It may go to my husband, I think. I think that's a masculine Valentine's Day card, and it's hard to make those. So I like the moose for that, I have to say. He's very cute. And I love the depth that you get with these cards. They're so much more than a store-bought card. Okay, now you can see the frogs on the left. If you take a look, that sky has really smoothed out. I don't know if you can remember what it was like at the beginning, but it was blotchy, 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 and it's not anymore. So that is a really nice ink. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope everyone is having a great day, and I do hope I will see you again next time. Thanks again.